The head of the main hospital here wants government to remove hemodialysis services from that healthcare institution. That's our top story in our Barbados Today morning news update for Friday, March the 9th. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. The head of the state-run Queen Elizabeth Hospital is recommending that policymakers remove hemodialysis from the package of services now being offered by the healthcare institution. Chief Executive Officer Dr. Dexter James told a World Kidney Day seminar yesterday that the QEH was not set up to deal with this type of service.
Hemodialysis is essentially an outpatient service. We really set up to take care of very, very ill patients, secondary and tertiary care. And the consideration really has to be looked at now to decide whether we move hemodialysis services as a vertical program under the Ministry of Health and seen as an outpatient service. What that will do for us is that it then frees our resources up to be able to focus on very acutely ill patients and our transplantation program.
Dr. James is also asking government to introduce legislation that addresses brain deaths, thereby permitting the hospital to move forward with its transplantation program.
I estimate that we have about 10 brain deaths within the Queen Elizabeth Hospital on an annual basis. About 10 brain deaths in the Queen Elizabeth Hospital on an annual basis. If we had legislation in place, could you imagine with the proper ethical framework in place and a good transplantation program in place, we could have had 2 eyes, 2 hearts, 2 kidneys as a start. 10 by 2 is 20. Potentially, you could have had at least 20 patients on the kidney side having transplantation. So this legislation is very, very important to support our transplantation program, as well as to provide one of the 3 pinnacles for addressing renal diseases.
And the Director of Nursing Services, Henderson Pinder, painted a picture of growing kidney diseases, particularly among women.
Worldwide, there are 195 million women only, who are diagnosed with renal disease, and it is currently the 8th leading cause of death in women, accounting for approximately 60,000 deaths yearly. In Barbados, there are currently 186 patients who are being seen in our artificial kidney unit. Of that number, 78 are females. Approximately 1,800 cases are treated per month. Additionally, 60 of those are outsourced, and you heard the other information in relation to that.
In other news now, cyclists and motorists who continue to perform stunts on the island's highways are being warned that the law will soon catch up with them. Assistant Superintendent in charge of the Traffic Department, Roland Stanford, told a news conference yesterday the police have put a special operation in place to intercept such offenders. He has cautioned them that if convicted, they face a $500 fine or jail or both.
Performing stunts on the public highway really is dangerous, not only for the motorcyclists, but also for other road users. So it is a new offense, and the fine is really meant to be a deterrent.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back with news from the region now. The Speaker of St. Lucia's House of Assembly, Leon Theodore John, has resigned amidst speculation she might have been forced out by the Prime Minister, a charge the Prime Minister has denied. Theodore John has confirmed her new role as the Minister Counselor to the St. Lucia High Commission in the United Kingdom. Conjecture about the departure of the Speaker first service last year following her disciplined approach to House affairs that saw her chastising members of both sides of the House, including the Prime Minister.
I think I can today say that I have tendered my resignation as Speaker of the House of Assembly.
To take a position somewhere as a speculator in the UK?
Yes,
okay.
Hopefully.
Can you just speak on your tenure as Speaker of the House?
Well, one of the things I want to say is that it is a role that I thoroughly enjoy. I would like to put on record that I would like to thank the Parliament, the parliamentarians, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet of Ministers for reposing their confidence in me.
And on the international scene, South Korea's Trade Minister says the country will actively consider filing a complaint to the World Trade Organization over U.S. steel tariffs, but will continue to ask for steel exports to be exempted from the tariffs. The comments came after U.S. President Donald Trump pressed ahead with the imposition of a 25% tariff on steel imports and a 10% tariff on aluminum.
President Trump has imposed controversial import tariffs on steel and aluminium. The tariffs will start in 15 days. Canada and Mexico will be spared, and there is the possibility of alternatives for other nations. Trump said that the US is suffering unfair trade and that his plans would boost the country's industry.
Today, I'm defending America's national security by placing tariffs on foreign imports of steel and aluminum. We will have a 25% tariff on foreign steel and a 10% tariff on foreign aluminum when the product comes across our borders.
The tariffs of 25% on steel and 10% on aluminium have caused international outrage. The European Union threatened to tax US products, including Levi jeans and Bourbon, in response. Trump's tariffs are meant to fulfill a campaign promise to protect the US steel industry.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.